Chapter 2, Section 1. The essential question for this section is, what does it mean to multiply fractions? Before we start, we're going to watch a short video and then get right into the lesson.
Sometimes meeting your goals takes a little teamwork, and having a friend or family member to keep you accountable can
Dude, what's up? It's dude. No. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Duderino. Dude. The dudester. Dude. Oh, yeah, this weekend. No, I'm going to be hanging around. I'm probably going to go down to the Phoenix Center. Maybe do some skateboarding. Or talk about a football game. Dude. Football. Yeah, I didn't know football this week, but probably be playing outside. Yeah, we did. Oh. Oh, dude, we got a test. Oh, I forgot about that. What's it on?
First thing you got to remember when you're multiplying or dividing fractions and mixed numbers is to make sure you have all fractions. That's all you want.
Alright kids, Mr. Binkley already told you that step 1 is to turn every number in the problem into a fraction. Step 2 is to check your sign. If the problem is multiplication, then you can proceed to step 3. If it's division, there's one more thing you need to do.
The third step is when you are dividing fractions, you have to take the second number, the divisor, and flip it, and that's finding its reciprocal.
Hey Mr. Binkley, could you show me an example of a problem with multiplication?
Sure. Say we had 3 1/3 times 6. Okay, to go about solving this problem here, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the problem so that both of my numbers are fractions. Okay, so 3 1/3, that is a mixed number. I'm going to change it into an improper fraction.
How do you do that, Mr. Binkley?
Okay, to get an improper fraction, you take the denominator, which is 3 here, times the whole number. So 3 times 3 is 9. Add your numerator. So 3 times 3 was 9, plus 1 is 10. That's my numerator. You keep your denominator the same. So 10/3 is my improper fraction for the mixed number 3 1/3. Times 6, the whole number.
Now how do you change a whole number into a fraction?
Very good question. Okay, 6 is really easy to turn into fraction form. All you have to do is put that number over 1. So this would become 6 over 1. And that's just saying 6 divided by 1, which is 6. So we have our new problem set up here, 10/3 times 6 over 1. Next step is to simplify and then multiply. So if there's anything I can simplify, which I noticed the 6 and the 3 can both be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now I look at my problem. Everything is simplified. I can't simplify the 10 and the 2 because they're both numerators. I have to have one numerator and one denominator to simplify. So now I just take my numerators and multiply them, and my denominators and multiply them. So 10 times 2 is 20. Over 1 times 1 is 1.
Now, do I leave the answer as 20 over 1?
Good question. 20 over 1 is really just saying 20 divided by 1. So that just equals 20. Whenever you see a number over 1, it's really simple. It's always just your numerator. So our answer here is 20. Hey, Mr. Bender, how about you do a division problem for me, please?
I'd love to do one, Mr. Binkley. Let's look at this example. We have 4 1/6 divided by 5/12. Now, you already told me that in order to do either multiplication or division, both numbers need to be turned into fractions. Now 5/12 is already a fraction, but 4 1/6 is a mixed number. So, again, according to what you showed me, take the denominator 6, multiply it by the whole number 4, which is 24, add the numerator, makes 25, and the denominator stays the same. So we have 25/6. Now, if you have division, we're going to do two things. We're going to take the sign and change it to its opposite. The opposite of division is multiplication. Then we're going to find the reciprocal of 5/12. And all you have to do is flip it. So take the numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator. So it becomes 12/5. Now we have a multiplication problem involving two fractions. We're going to look for numbers that can be simplified. I notice the 6 and 12 can both be divided by 6. This becomes 1. This becomes 2. The 5 and the 25 could each be divided by 5. That becomes 1, and that becomes 5. We multiply our numerators. Nothing else can be simplified. We get 10. And multiply the denominators and get 1. Like you showed us, if you have a mix or an improper fraction with 1 as a denominator, it's simply 10.
Dude.
Hey, dude. Dude. Dude.
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 All right. Now looking at the lesson itself, you'll be using what they showed you in the video in the first two sections of this chapter. First of all, though, I would like you to write down the key idea, multiplying fractions. Make sure you put this in your notes exactly the way it is, and we'll go over it in 1 second. Looking over the key idea of multiplying fractions, what this means is you're going to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. Simple enough. Let's look at the numbers, the way they set it up. 3/7 times 1/2. What you'll see in this book is they actually put the numbers together, so they set up an actual equation. They have 3 times 1 is 3, and 7 times 2 is 14. They're just putting your denominators here and your numerators there. Now, the algebraic form is all it is placing letters where there's numbers. So we have A over B and C over D, multiply just like this. And if you look, it's A times C, just like that, B times D, just like the bottom. Now, the next step says where B, comma D does not equal 0. In other words, this is not going to turn out to 0. All right, let's take a look at the actual lesson itself from the book. In example 1 on page 56, all they're showing you, simple enough, find 1/5 times 1/3. Again, notice where I want you to notice, or what I want you to notice, is that this setup right here, where they do this line here, they want you to take the numerators, multiply them across, take the denominators, multiply them across, and then simplify. If you don't need that step to still work it out, I'm okay with that. But if you're having trouble, I may have you go back to that. So keep that step in mind. Okay, example 2. It says multiplying fractions with common factors. And this is what they talked about in the video. In this problem, you have 8/9 times 3/4. So here it is right here. They went across, did 8 times 3, 9 times 4. Now they looked at this and they said, are there any common factors between the 8 and the 4? Remember, one numerator, one denominator. And separately between the 3 and the 9. If you look down here, you will notice that they chose the number 4. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 8 twice. Again here, 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Now we have different numbers. Now we actually have 2 times 1 and 3 times 1. Once we simplify that, you get 2/3. Now, you're going to be asked to look at it and say, is this a reasonable answer? So if I said to you, okay, you got these right, or in some cases you got them wrong, is this a reasonable answer? Well, if you estimate 8/9, because that's pretty close to 1, 8 of the 9, times 3/4, which we know what that is, and 1 times 3/4 is going to be 3/4. So you look at 2/3. Is that pretty close to 3/4? Absolutely. The numerators are only 1 off of the denominators, so it is a reasonable answer. Let's look at the study tip. It says when the numerator of one fraction is the same as the denominator of another fraction, you can use mental math to multiply. For example, 4/5 times 5/9, and it equals 4/9 because you can divide out the common factor 5. In other words, there's a 5 here and a 5 here. Again, so once again, we went numerator to denominator, 5 and 5. Well, that's going to be a 1. So then we look at it and we say it's 4/9. That's just an extra tip that they give you. At this point, what you need to do is the on your own. You need to show your work. You're going to do numbers 1 through 4. Once you've completed those, please come back for example 3. Pause the video. Example 3, and this is where we take what we know and we put it into a real life application. The problem is you have 2/3 of a bag of flour. You use 3/4 of the flour to make empanada dough. How much of the entire bag do you use to make the dough? Now, method 1 tells you you can use a model. Okay? 6 of the 12 squares have both kinds of shading. How did they figure that out? They multiplied that across. 6 out of the 12 squares have, 6 of the 12 squares have both types of shading. So you can say 6/12 equals 1/2 the bag. Method 2 is the method you pretty much just learned. Instead of drawing yourself a picture, but you can always do that, you have to find 3/4 of 2/3, which means you multiply. And here is where we did the factors, the cross factors, and you come up with the same answer. You used 1/2 of the entire bag. All right, at this point, what you need to do, after looking at that, you're going to look at the on your own number 5, and you're going to show your work on that. Pause the video and come back when you're done. In example 4, we're going to start looking at what they talked about in the video about writing each mixed number as an improper fraction. Then you can multiply the fractions. Again, the most important part is that you have to change them into actual fractions. You cannot work with an improper fraction. I'm going to pause the video now. You need to move on to part 2 of this video.